You're muted right now.
What about now? Am I still high
Oh,
pitched?
perfect. You're good.
Oh, great. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what the hell that was about. Man, got my Mickey Mouse on for a second. But like I was saying, man, it has been a crazy week. It like I thought last week was wild.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and really, it can't get that much worse in a week. And then we wake up to the news just today, um, alongside all the other news that came out this week. But Trump put out a message saying that Iranians shouldn't worry and that help is on the way.
Yeah.
That's
Which
ominous as shit.
what does that mean exactly? Because I've seen some people saying that it might have been an interview with him or somebody else, somebody in the administration saying that they were going to arm protesters or something like that. And I'm sure you've seen this completely make the rounds of all the boomers, all the Trump supporters saying, "Well, all the leftists were crying for Gaza, but where are all they when it comes to Iran?" It's like, guys,
Bro, like those two things
come on.
are completely related, but they are related in one sense. Ironically, I'm a pro Palestine guy. I am a pro resistance guy. I do believe that we should be doing whatever we can to ensure that the Palestinians being genocided can stand up to and combat the Zionist state. And
Mhm.
so naturally, I am not going to want to overthrow the only government that is funding the resistance. So yeah, if you're asking, like, oh man, where are the pro-Palestinian guys at? Because it isn't even just Palestine, by the way, but yeah, Palestine. I want them to actually be able to have some form of legitimate resistance. And if you get rid of Iran and this particular government, by the way, this government who is literally the main deterrent to terrorism in the region, this government is. This
Yeah.
government, the only reason I think that Hezbollah can fight off Israel constantly bombing Lebanon. This government that helped the Yemenis fend off Israel and the U.S. whenever they were enforcing the Geneva Convention and protecting the Red Sea during a genocide. This government is responsible for all of that. And you want me to let the U.S. and Israel over there? Matter of fact, y'all want to see who they want in charge of this government, man? Before we
I know
even get
exactly
into
where this
it,
is going.
it's super easy to just go ahead. You can
Yeah.
draw your conclusions pretty quickly from here. Yeah, this is Reza Pahlavi, the crown prince. This is the guy who people want to take charge if Iran's government should be overthrown.
Mhm.
Yep, that's exactly what it looks like. You see how he making love to that wall?
Yep. Every single time.
Every time. Every single time. I
Yep.
mean, he came out and said that he wanted positive relations with Israel. So, like,
And on top of that, he also did like the MAGA podcast circuit. He was on PBD getting his lashings, and oh my God, and of course, when PBD interviewed Trump, he was saying, "Oh, well, you should do regime change in Iran." And then, of course, all of a sudden, as soon as all these talks about riots and protests in Iran break out again, what does PB do? He breaks out the old faithful Reza Pahlavi posts all over again. I'm like, bro, you just
dog,
try to just like hide it a
PBD,
little bit.
I know PBD was waiting for this moment, bro.
Oh,
Like, he was waiting for this moment. This is like his moment to shine. He's been preparing us for this for so long. But like, when you look at Pahlavi, not only the rounds that he's been making, like they are going all in. So you see that Trump makes that announcement right early this morning saying that the people of Iran no longer have to worry that help is on the way. And some people might assume that, oh, maybe it's just aid. No, bro. He made an announcement that all U.S. citizens need to leave the Qatar Air Force Base.
Mhm.
And let me pull up the article real quick. This is from Newsweek.
Yeah.
Like, this is like, y'all need to understand, this is not a game, dog. I can't, based off of what we've seen the last couple of weeks, Kyle, really the last several months, every time Trump has made a threat, he has followed through this year.
Yeah.
No
Well,
matter how ridiculous it is.
a little historical context there too, if people remember the whole quote unquote 12-day war, when they called for all the US citizens just recently to leave the Qatari air base, that was because the US or Israel, or I'm sorry, Iran had struck, I think it was a base in Qatar
Yep.
after the 12-day war, and they televised the strike. So I
Yep.
in one of my more recent shows, I kind of outlined this where like you're basically going to continue to assume, like the Trump administration that is assuming that Iran is basically going to continue this line of restraint where they're always very restrained. And then when they do a response, they communicate with the US, they say, hey, we're going to let you know, clear out this base. We're going to do a strike because we're not just going to keep getting hit like a bitch. Eventually, they may decide, well, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to go all out because you guys have given us no other choice.
This time, I think it's going to be the latter. I think they're going all out because they've been patient, like
Yes.
unbelievably so, right? Because they did not wanted civilian casualties. They've not wanted U.S. personnel and U.S. civilians to pay the price because their president is a fucking asshole, right? Like that's basically what we've seen. So he put out an announcement. This is earlier this morning. Select personnel leaving the U.S.'s largest military base in the Middle East because of the current regional tensions, the Qatari government has said. After U.S. President Donald Trump repeatedly warned of a response to Iranian authorities cracking down on protests in the country. Some personnel at the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar were told to leave the facility by the end of the day on Wednesday, citing 3 anonymous diplomats. Such measures are being undertaken in response to the current regional tensions. Bro, end of the day is a pretty damn short window. So now you compare that, and then he froze countries from 75 visas. Or excuse me, froze visas from 75 countries, all visas, including obviously Iran, which is ironic, right? You're claiming that you want to help the Iranian people, but you're not even allowing refugees, bro.
Right. And you're basically saying, hey, you know what? You guys have no choice but to stay there, and we're about to bomb the living shit.
We're about to bomb the shit out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And back during the 12-day war, a friend of mine had tweeted this out saying, I miss this president. And he said, congratulations to the world. We've achieved peace or something like that. And I responded to her, and I'm like, I don't think she knew, but I was like, this is literally the day of or the day after he bombed Iran. And then we supposedly solved the 12-day war. This is what all the Trump supporters have told me, is that he took away Israel's casus belli for fighting a war with Iran. But Niko, you and I know this situation. You probably know it much better than me. But even me, with a somewhat surface, maybe a little bit more than surface knowledge of the issues, we all knew that if you strike Iran and their nuclear facilities, they're just going to kick it back up because this is a matter of national sovereignty for them. They're not going to just sit there and play the US's bitch. They'll gladly negotiate. They want to get sanctions relief, but they're not going to budge on some things. This is one of those things they're not going to budge on. So really, bombing them just kicks the can down the road. And here we are. We're at the end of the road. So now Trump has to decide, are we going to let them, do what they want to do? Or are we going to continue to just do this? We'll strike them every here and there.
Yeah, honestly, when they bombed Iran, what they did was encourage, whereas Iran had never shown any actual intention of making nuclear weapons, when they bombed Iran the way that they did and gaslighted the world, they gaslighted the world into believing Iran had some intention of making nuclear weapons, even though Tulsi Gabbard herself said that there was no proof whatsoever of this, the director of national intelligence. Then you accuse Iran of what Israel is actually guilty of, while Israel's bombing the hell out of Iran. So maybe if I wasn't thinking about making nuclear weapons at that moment, I am now. Right. And so now you're right. Trump is going to be forced into a spot where he has to make a decision. Do we allow them to pursue pursue these weapons after we antagonize them and provoke them? Or do we have to nip this in the bud now? And if Netanyahu's making the decisions, which he always is, they're going to nip it in the bud now, regardless of how dangerous it could be for U.S. interests overall in the long run. Even more damning evidence that there's probably going to be an attack against Iran by the end of this week, if not tomorrow. The U.S., or Trump really, he signed an order to pull out of 66 international organizations today. 66. A lot of them including the UN. At the same time, Israel pulled out of the majority of the organizations within the UN that they participate in. Bruh, what do y'all think is happening?
Yeah.
All in one day this happened, Kyle.
Yeah. I like I said, when I saw that tweet earlier where it said breaking, Israeli and Iranian officials basically said that they agreed that they won't preemptively strike each other, and then you add this whole context here, there is no doubt in my mind that they're going to attack Iran again, especially because they're moving. I think they're moving some aircraft carriers over there as of this morning. I don't recall exactly what equipment was going over there, but I know that they're moving stuff over there. There wasn't quite the same buildup as there was last time, but this time it just seems like there's hardly even any. Well, I mean, the big propaganda is just them basically saying that they're killing protesters. And then I do like that some people are going along with this joke, like our friend Nick from Revolutionary Blackout Network. He said, oh, I heard the number was high as 8 billion people that they killed those protesting anti-Semites. I'm like, okay, yeah, I see what he's doing here.
Yeah, because it's like 20. I saw. I swear to. Let me see if I can find that shit.
Yeah, it was like 200
somebody
people
said
yesterday.
20,000, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't believe y'all actually taking this shit seriously. Are we really believing that the Iranian government killed 20,000 people? There was a post today on X, or really several accusations that the Iranian government was going into, or the security forces rather, was going into hospitals, Kyle, and killing people at point blank range. What do they look like, Israelis?
Yeah.
Because that's what the Israelis do. You know, they're like,
Yeah.
Iran is not. They're not stupid. They don't move like that.
Well, you know what? Let's be fair to the Israelis. They would have dropped a bomb on the hospital. They wouldn't shoot the people. They would drop a bomb because the Israelis don't go in and fight man to man.
Also true, right? There got to be plenty of babies and kids in there without weapons for them to go in there.
And then you have to say that you left the leaflet because you're the most moral army in the world. So that gives you right to do whatever you want.
Bro, it's ridiculous. But I will say this though, I do want to be clear. The Mossad is arming people to destroy and kill. It's already been documented. These Mossad chaos agents have been killing Iranians.
Yes.
And so under the circumstances, Kyle, and some people might maybe think I'm morbid or cruel for saying this, you find out that if you can confirm that this is a Mossad agent, that they're acting as a chaos agent, and that they're killing Iranians and trying to overthrow your government, off them. That's where I'm at with it. Yeah. You don't got time to play around. We cannot pretend. The reason why, maybe I would have commended them, Iran, for exercising restraint under these circumstances 7 months ago, 8 months ago. I just watched the president get snatched out of his goddamn bedroom last week, Kyle.
Yeah.
I just watched a woman get executed on TV yesterday. And then, or not yesterday, excuse me, last week, or not on TV, because they don't want to pretend, they're pretending like it shit wasn't an execution, but on social media, and it would have never even made it to our views if people weren't there to show it. They would have made it whatever fucking lie they could have. Absolutely. But on top of all that, they gave ICE complete immunity, Kyle. So with all that happening, while threatening Colombia, while threatening Cuba, if you got the Mossad in your country burning up fire trucks and destroying fire trucks because they don't want you to be able to put out fires, attacking government buildings, killing your protesters, co-opting legitimate protests for the economy, which isn't necessarily Iran's fault because they had $100 billion stolen from them, which is why their inflation is up. Because the U.S. stole $100 billion from them after they removed themselves from the JCPOA and blamed Iran for shit they didn't do.
Right.
Yeah, at this moment, if you got to take out Mossad agents and ask questions later, do it.
Yeah. And you know, it was kind of funny. When I did my show this past Sunday, I was able to find pretty quickly, like, I can't remember who it was. It might have been the culture minister in Israel who said that they had Mossad agents in these protests. And then I looked a day or two later, scrubbed. You could not find the article I found. I'm like, oh, I see what they're doing. They don't want you finding out that they were proudly admitting it. They said, yeah, we got protesters over there. Like, yeah, no shit. So over the last, 10 years,
audaciously, bro. Like they're like, yeah, obviously this is point of pride. We put a lot of work into putting those Mossad agents there.
Yeah, but I mean, Israel has assassinated some of their top officials, scientists. So like, at what point are you like, all right, well, you know what? If you guys are going to play hardball, then don't be surprised if your agents don't come home. Like, what else are you supposed to do? Because you have this neighbor that's bombing all your neighbors and your allies in the region, and you're just supposed to be like, oh, well, we can't really do anything. No, I mean, at a certain point, it's like, all right, guys, sorry, the gloves got to come off. This isn't like the U.S. to Venezuela. I mean, this is like, once again, Iran and Israel. Israel's been trying to take out Iran for fucking years. I mean, there's literally videos of Benjamin Netanyahu back in like probably late 80s, early 90s saying they're 6 months away from a nuke. The whole joke is the Friedman unit, 6 months, because they've been saying that, Iran is 6 months away from a nuke for that long. So if they've been trying to gin up this propaganda against you, they're paying protesters, they're assassinating your officials, they're dragging the world's most powerful government into a war with you. Eventually, you got to just be like, all right, no, we're stamping this out. The moment we know you're Mossad, sorry, no mercy.
Bro, I'm telling you, dog. I'm trying to find that. Bro, I think they might have scrubbed that shit too, because I had actually bookmarked the video of Mike Pompeo congratulating the Mossad on the great work that they've done infiltrating the government.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know exactly where it was from.
It was a Fox News interview. That's so
Okay.
weird.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
That's wild. I'm sure like they kind of realized like, yeah, damn, maybe we shouldn't have actually.
Yeah. If we're telling these people, maybe we're making it a little too obvious that we're going for regime change here. We can't just or we're trying to go for a war here. We got to like roll this back at least a little bit because people might pick up on this.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a tweet from Mike Pompeo. At least found that. Let me pull up for you guys. This is nuts. Like, I don't understand how you can just admit that you're infiltrating the government, and there are people who are like, man, yeah, we're just going to ignore that shit. Mike Pompeo, the Iranian regime is in trouble. Bringing mercenaries in is its last best hope. Riots in dozens of cities. 47 years of this regime. POTUS 47. Coincidence? No, we don't actually think that anything the empire does is coincidence, and it's weird that they're trying to pretend like this is some divine intervention, some spiritual shit. Oh no, you telling me the empire planned out a well-schemed regime change? Yeah, I mean that's kind of what y'all do.
Color me shocked.
There's nothing coincidental about it. Everybody predicted this. Actually,
it was an interview on the New Arab, I believe it was called. Israeli minister says agents operating in Iran amid protests. And it was, I'm trying to see if I could find his name. Israeli minister has claimed that Israeli agents are operating within Iran amid protests triggered by the country's economic woes. Yeah, the New Arab.
Oh, here's one. Channel 14 News. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Amichai Eliyahu is the guy's name that was claiming that Mossad is in the protest. So, yeah.
Bro, Tamir Murad. We reported tonight on Channel 14, foreign actors are arming the protesters in Iran with live firearms, which is the reasons for hundreds of regime personnel killed. Everyone is free to guess who is behind it.
Yep.
This is Israeli media.
And it's always so funny because the Israelis never hide this kind of stuff. They're very, very bad at kind of keeping it on the down low. Like you think they would at least be like, oh, we support the Iranian protesters, but they just no, yeah, we're arming them. We're arming them. We have our agents there, and people just go right along with it.
Yeah, like I'm not, so for me, I'm not one of those people like nobody's died. I'm like, if the Mossad is there and they're arming protest, like Mossad doesn't show up anywhere to pick or to plant daisies and to sing Kumbaya.
Yeah,
this is the Mossad.
Yeah,
they're to fuck shit up, bro. Right. Look at what we know now that there are IDF soldiers implanted in the in ICE. Kyle, what happened? I mean, they've been training with them to work with, but like this is the first time we actually have full confirmation. Like, nah, they're in ICE and they're part of this particular operation. And look at what has happened. Bro, ICE is trash. I've always hated ICE. I've always felt like there are two big cops that were too stupid to be police officers, which is saying a lot. And do you take that fucking clown outfit and then infuse it with the cruelty of the IDF?
Right.
And you get executions in the street. You got white women getting executed. That's the only way something like that can happen, Kyle, in the U.S. Because the cops know. Everybody, hey, man, y'all kill y'all want to. Don't kill no white woman, though. All right? Y'all, I don't give a shit what her affiliation is. I don't care what her sex, gender. Don't kill that white woman. Because that's something now we got to call her a domestic terrorist. We got to make people emotional and shit, have them argue about whether or not she's a domestic terrorist. Because we're going to have to talk about it now. If you just kill a white man, we just be like, oh man, he was acting aggressively and nobody gonna give it. You kill a black man, everybody gonna look the other way. But you kill a white woman? Yeah, but the IDF is like, but you do know we're Zionists. It's different. We can kill who we want
to. We have full abundance to kill whoever we want. When I saw that video, I still have people to this day because I was talking to some of my coworkers about this, and the one's about to go be a cop, and I was like, the dude stood in front of a car. Like, can we all just like zoom out and say like, I'm pretty sure probably in all military training and all police training, they probably tell you like you probably shouldn't stand in front of a car, especially if it's running, because like it just is abundantly clear. Because if that lady wanted to fucking plow that dude over, she easily could have. She didn't. And people are acting like he
Easily.
did. Like, yeah, there was that whole tweet of, oh, well, he has bleeding on or internal bleeding or something like that.
Bro.
I'm like, dude, come
I want
on.
to see the doctor. I want to see the doctor who signed off on it.
Yeah, yeah. You know how that was? All right. So how much is that check? Okay. All right. No problem.
They couldn't even quote a doctor though. They had to say U.S. officials. They couldn't even quote a doctor
Yeah.
because no doctor would sign off on that shit.
Yeah. Who the hell
No
they
one
get?
even
Fucking Cash
Hey.
Patel.
I want to talk about the fact that there's so many people right now who are actually leftists, allegedly, or anti-imperialists even, who are basically telling people that, oh, the protests in Iran are legitimate, are legitimate, regardless of whether or not the Mossad might be involved. That doesn't mean that these protests aren't legitimate. I'm like, bro, it was a simple economic protest at first, which, once again, a simple economic protest does not mean I want my government overthrown.
Right.
That is not what that means in no context. Like, that never happens. Economic protest means like people got to get killed in the street. No. But what's crazy, when I tell people, and I've had this conversation over and over and over again, okay, the grievances that people might have with their own government are legitimate. Every single person, every single group, every single country has these issues. Okay, but you're talking about overthrowing this government, siding with every neocon in the world in order to push this agenda. Now explain to me, you fucking diaspora living in the US, in the UK. Bro, what's crazy? How many people have you heard they get their camera out, they put their microphone on, and like, you see the tweet as an Iranian, and they start talking. Now, as an Iranian, I believe that we should be encouraging those to stop. I'm like, boy, he was 2 years old. Your British ass. What are you talking about? You don't have to live there and deal with the consequences of what comes next.
Right.
And you're talking about what is best for the people of Iran, and you don't even know any of those people.
Right.
It's disgusting, bro. There's people with no skin in the game telling them to just lay down and let their government be taken over, Kyle. How the fuck does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just cuck chair politics. I think you and I might have talked about it last week where people are like, oh, yeah, well, look, we look so tough overthrowing fucking Venezuela. And I'm like, you literally sat there and then read a tweet and then threw it out like you did something. Like, bro, no. And, for these people who say as a X, as a this, as a that, they're basically trying to say that I'm an authority and I speak for all these people. It's like, you can have your opinion and that's fine, but don't pretend like once again, some Iranian from Britain or something like that is supposed to be able to have the exact facts on the ground of what's going on in Iran. And then also like the knowledge of why it would be, in their perception, a good idea to overthrow Iran. It's so stupid.
And they always start with as an Iranian, because my thing is, why don't you say as a person living in Iran? Because you can't say that. As a person living in Venezuela. No, you're not dealing with the circumstances or the blowback from the actions that the empire engages in those countries. But you want the place that your parents were born in to give you some type of authority on an issue you know absolutely nothing about. And they always expose themselves because when you're like, when they say that, I'm usually, now I've kind of given up on that notion, but I used to expect some type of information to flow, right? Some type of facts to be followed with a statement like that. And there's never any. Because whenever I give information about the US, Kyle, I don't have to be like, as an American, Kyle, as an American, you should listen to everything Donald Trump says because he has what's in the best interest of American citizens. And if you think otherwise, you haven't had the lived experience of American and your opinion is that. Like, what? No, like, if you're going to make a statement like that, maybe at least follow it up with some facts because you're like, oh man, we want to get out the dictatorship. Well, it's not a dictatorship, technically speaking. That's why it's so hard for them to overthrow the government. Because if it was a dictatorship, you cut one person off, it's over. But that's not the case. Second of all, you want to get rid of one dictator to put in what? A monarchy.
Yeah.
A fucking monarchy, bro. A monarchy of somebody who's never lived in Iran, who admitted doesn't have any friends in Iran. And this dude is out here telling people that what they got to be willing to do in order to overthrow their government to install his ass. And this man has not had a real job in his life, Kyle. His whole life, he's just been a playboy. He's 67 years old now, but he was basically just a playboy.
Yeah, talk about motivated reasoning.
Bro, listen to this dude.
And as you are urging people to protest and go to the streets, the death toll is rising in Iran. This violent crackdown continues just as it has in past attempted revolutions.
Mockingbird.
I mean, is it responsible to be sending citizens in Iran to their deaths? Do you bear some responsibility?
As I said, this is a war, and war has casualties. In fact, in order to preserve and protect and minimize the death toll, minimize innocent victims yet again be killed by this regime, action is needed. The regime is going to try and brutalize its citizenry as it has always done. But we are in a fight for liberation.
This motherfucker said, we are in a fight for liberation, Kyle.
Yeah, bro. What did you do other than fucking write some big ass tweets and go on a podcast? Look, you're on CBS, bro.
This man said, we are in a fight for liberation. Can't you see that? All the way from my studio, we are in this together. We say in Portuguese, estamos juntos. That's what they say in Portuguese. Like, nah, bro, we not doing shit.
Yeah, it's like
is there. The people in the street, by the way, those millions of people that y'all have seen on camera, those are pro-government protests. Yeah. But like, what are you doing?
It's like that that scene from the end of Shrek where not the end, but at one part, Lord Farquaad, when he's up in his tower, he says, some of you may die, but that is a price I'm willing to pay. That's pretty much this motherfucker right here. Like, yeah, you guys might die, but hey, eventually I'll be the Shah again. So you know, thank you for your sacrifice. Bro. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for your sacrifice, everybody.
To come to the streets to fight for against the regime because I wanted so. They asked me to step in to help them and to be their voice on the outside world, to do everything that we can so we make this uprising successful this time. And I think we have some serious leaders that understand what is necessary, that understand the ask of the Iranian people and are responding to that. I think President Trump is responding to the call that the Iranian people have. The Iranian people have heard his words. They are naming streets after him in Iran.
Yeah, I mean, that was a random Mossad agent saying, like, just because you say some shit, like, yeah, we're naming this street after Trump now, that doesn't make it actually a thing. I don't know why I have to say that, but apparently we do.
Yeah.
I do have to say, too, it's scary to me almost how they're like, man, they love Trump. They're celebrating Trump. They're responding to Trump's words, his tweets, his interviews. And like, we all know he's about to bomb the hell out of them.
Right. Not to mention,
sick, bro.
They killed thousands of people in that quote unquote 12-day war. Do you really think the Iranians are like, hey, we actually really like the guy who killed thousands of our people in our country? Like, come on, man.
And they're still pissed about it, bro.
Yeah.
They're still pissed about it. Rightfully so.
All right.
Like, what's crazy is ultimately, whatever grievances the Iranian people had with their government just went the fuck out the window this week. Because you reminded them why they have these grievances, why the Iranian government's economy isn't what it should be. And just to give some context for everybody. So everybody is aware of sanctions being put on Iran. That's kind of been an on and off thing, at least since Khamenei came into power. But what people don't discuss is the most recent sanctions, which have been the most diabolical, and why they happened. So Trump pulled the U.S. out of he pulled the U.S. out of the JCPOA. For why? We don't know. He claimed that Iran was still making nuclear weapons, even though there's no proof of that. And once again, Israel absolutely has nuclear weapons, and no one's talking about it. Cool. Right. Whatever. But here was the crazy part. This is one of the first times where the West was like, we don't know what the hell this dude's doing. Because the UK and France and all the NATO powers are like, Iran's not doing anything. They've actually been perfectly in compliance, despite the fact that the JCPOA has investigated them, inspected them more than anybody else. Y'all been on their ass, and they still comply without any complaints.
Yep.
So he still pulls them out, which triggered this sanction that led to $100 billion in assets from Iran to be frozen all over the world. Okay, right. What do they use that $100 billion for? Specifically, Kyle, they use that $100 billion to manage currency valuation and inflation.
And you know what's
So
funny? You'll see so many people talk about how, oh, Biden just gave all this money to Iran. Like, I've even seen libertarians share this. And like, okay, first of all, that supposed $6 billion is supposed to go to Iran. First of all, if it did, which it didn't, because Qatar actually canceled that
yep.
transfer back after October 7th. Even if it did, we stole all that money. We froze all their money. So I mean, I think all decent people would be like, yeah, if you steal something off somebody, the rightful thing to do is to return it. And
Hmm.
that's essentially what that would have been. But once again, it didn't happen. And
It
as
didn't
far as I
happen.
know, after October or even during October 7th, Iran had no idea that actually Hamas was going to do that attack. Could they have? Maybe. But to that point, like, so
They might have been
Iran
the
now
only
gets
ones,
punished.
apparently, based on what we've seen so far.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just like this ridiculous idea that Iran is like this awful actor in the region. When you think about the JCPOA, it's so funny. I think the main reason that Trump pulled out of it is because it wasn't his deal and he wanted to be able to make a win out of it. And really, that was just kind of a loss the whole way around because
Partially.
it limited their enrichment down to, what was it, like 3.2% or something like that, with IAEA inspections that they were constantly in compliance with. So even though Trump left in 2019, I'm pretty sure they kept their enrichment around those levels for the next few years, and they even were telling
For
Joe
a few years,
Biden,
but then it raised
yeah,
slowly towards like maybe like last year, the year before. But it's because
yeah,
Trump kept being Trump. It's because they
yeah.
kept feeling like they're
It was
no, well, y'all
always,
gonna.
yeah, it was always a
And they
latent
had
nuclear
it
deterrent.
was also in response to the sanctions because now we have
Right.
to enrich more
Mhm.
and diversify our economy, our
Right.
energy sector.
Right. It was always a latent nuclear deterrent that was to be negotiated away. And they
Hmm.
were saying to Joe Biden, Anthony Blinken, and all them that, like, hey, if you guys just agree to get back into the JCPOA for this term, we'll be good. But of course, Anthony Blinken wouldn't do it either because who are they talking to the entire time? They're calling up Bibi the same way Trump and Marco Rubio are.
Hmm. Exactly. It the whole thing, man, is it's sinister because like it's just I feel like the level of gaslighting, bro, it'll leave you like feeling like you're going crazy. I don't know how else to
Yeah.
describe it. And we always say, "Poach just she that shot doido," like freaking like, bro. I'm just there's no way that there are people who I thought were commonsensical. You know, we might not always agree, but I thought that y'all were at least commonsensical to know there's no way that you could possibly believe that the same man who just bombed the hell out of these people all of a sudden want the best for them.
Oh,
He was calling them a bunch of fucking terrorists 10 days ago.
yeah. Dave Smith had a really good tweet that all of a sudden all these war hawks become the biggest humanitarians as soon as it's time to sell another war. It's like, I see this angle. All of a sudden now, you guys were saying 2 years ago, like almost to the date, oh, just turn Gaza into a parking lot, which,
Yeah.
obviously, like, Palestinians aren't the same people as Iranians. They are somewhat, but they're saying, oh, turn Gaza into a parking lot, just nuke it all ever since October 7th. And now all of a sudden, because there's protests in Iran. Now it's like, oh, no. Actually, we should send them aid. We should send them weapons. These are the wonderful people of Iran. They should rise up and overthrow their government. I'm like, okay, this is just like the biggest bullshit you guys are trying to feed us. And anybody that falls for it, like, what are you doing in 2026?
Yeah.
You still fall for this shit.
Bro, it's so hilarious. Hey, when it's y'all become the biggest humanitarians when it's time to start another war. It's like the irony, because it's true. I like what Thomas Mack said the other day. Like he's like, I'm already against the next war. Because
Yep.
whatever excuse y'all gonna come up with is bullshit. The
Yep.
amount of gaslighting that we've even with the Venezuela situation, it's nonsense.
Yeah.
Y'all, it's like it was what is it? It was from fentanyl to cocaine. It was like a drug lure to nothing. Drugs didn't even or the gang doesn't even exist. You know what I'm saying? It's just about the oil. Like, and you don't want to say that.
Right.
And then you're pretending like you got victories that y'all didn't because I found out. Remember we were joking the other day how Trump only got 2 days worth of
2 days,
oil
yeah.
from Venezuela. I found out the other day, bro, he bought them at market price. I bullshit you not.
Okay, so you know what I found out shortly after this? There was an interview with an ExxonMobil CEO who was, I think, either at that meeting or close to the people who were in the meeting. And okay, do you know how much a barrel of oil costs from Canada to the U.S.?
Mm-mm.
It's about $58 a barrel. Do you know how much a
Okay.
barrel of oil costs from Venezuela?
How much?
$80 a barrel.
Yeah, that's not
And
about
we're supposed to be bragging about all this oil that's going to make us rich when the oil costs $20 more a barrel. And not to mention the infrastructure in Venezuela is protected by the military that still recognizes Nicolas Maduro as their president. and some of that infrastructure is going to need rebuilt because of the sanctions and because of years of just not the correct maintenance.
Well, Russia is actually helping to fortify their infrastructure for producing oil. So that's one of the reasons why the U.S. won't touch it.
Yeah, I had a friend tell me that Russia and China were destabilizing Latin America, and I'm like, wait,
So weird to me, bro.
Russia and China are buying and paying into infrastructure, and they have a trade relationship with Venezuela. We steal their president, but Russia and China are the ones destabilizing the region. Isn't building infrastructure like the definition of stabilization?
When they say destabilizing the region, what they mean is they're stabilizing it, which is destabilizing our grip on the region. That's what that is. Like, because they're like, China and Russia and Iran destabilizing the region. Huh? Let me see what they're talking about. Yeah, man. They're trying to buy their oil. Okay. They're investing in their infrastructure. Okay. They're trying to counteract our sanctions. Okay, maybe I need to review my definition of stabilize. I think that I might have been taught the wrong
definition. I think we're starting off on the wrong foot here. Another note on the whole Venezuela thing too is that who is the main guy kind of driving this lawsuit when it comes to with Maduro? Paul Singer. And what's Paul Singer? Zionist billionaire who's also funding the primary against Thomas Massey and anybody who doesn't like Israel. And I know that there was a great interview with Scott Horton did with a guy named Chris Brunet, where he kind of went through some of the history with Paul Singer and how he always kind of does this in different countries, basically runs down the currency and then basically allows himself to build it back up. Like I don't remember the exact context, but it was a really, really good interview. And basically this whole Venezuela project, the reason why, Marina Corina Machado is out there saying, I want to move our embassy to Jerusalem is because, well, Paul Singer's involved. So, well, if he's involved and you move the embassy to Jerusalem, well, now you just confirmed that you're another Zionist puppet.
Yeah. It's really that, especially because Paul Singer's whole job basically is creating projects that bolster Zionist interests. That's what he does.
Yep.
And he gets rewarded handsomely for it. I want to switch gears really quick to the situation with ICE, bro. It is getting nuts out there. This is a recent post detailing some of the stuff that's happening. Basically, the long and short of it is, ain't nobody safe. U.S. citizen, immigrant, legal immigrant, it's nuts. This is breaking. ICE agents in Minneapolis violently detained, threatened, and arrested a U.S. citizen for one reason and one reason only. He refused to prove his citizenship, whatever the hell that means. In this video, agents immediately escalate to a physical force. A man stands with his hands up repeatedly saying, I'm not doing anything, while agents shove him, force him against the car, and begin a legal search. No crime, no warrant, no probable cause. The agent falsely claims that's assault. While they are actively assaulting a U.S. citizen who didn't comply, moments later, the agent admits the truth, saying, all we needed was your ID. Openly acknowledged that it was unlawful detention based solely on refusal to produce identification. That is not legal. The short agent then threatens, don't move or you will be fucking tased. The man calmly responds, I'm not moving. Bruh, this is, look, y'all.
Get the fuck on the car before you get fucking arrested.
I'm not
Get the fuck on the car before you get
Now that's fucking assault.
Don't move, you're gonna get fucking tased. Don't fucking move or you're gonna get tased. Because you want to be an idiot.
I'm not moving,
Because you want to be a fucking
You're
idiot.
a fucking pussy.
You're a fucking bitch. And you're gonna learn the fucking hard way.
They got 3 people on this dude.
Like a fucking Muppet. Those short ass. Short man complex, little man complex.
Just asking for an ID. That
I don't
was
give
it.
a fuck what you asked me for, bitch.
Shut up.
You shut up, bitch.
Shut up.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? He has a gun on him. Look at that.
A fully registered firearm. Because I'm a U.S. citizen.
Bro,
What's wrong with
real,
y'all?
bro. Where the outrage from? I gotta know where the outrage from the Second Amendment's at. The Second Amendment people at. You mad at the dude because he's exercising his Second Amendment right?
Right.
That means he's somehow devious. I'm confused, Kyle.
And not only that, like this is a blatant violation of the Constitution to be patting people down without a warrant or without probable cause or anything.
Bro, it is. Why did they stop him? Which obviously they don't have a reason. They just said he needs to produce his ID because you looked at him and you assume that he might not be an American citizen, which he is. He says, and when they're talking, because this is, by the way, this isn't the first video nor the only video I've seen where they're like, you got to prove that you're a citizen. So I got to carry my birth certificate around. Because even an ID by itself, if you look at it, it doesn't necessarily prove that person is a citizen, depending on what state it is. But what's crazy too is if you are a cop, you should be able to run the tags of that individual, right? Because you have a system, which everybody is aware of, where it brings up when you type in that individual's license plate. It shows the owner, where they're born, where they're currently living at, et cetera, to prove that they're a citizen. And they can't do it. Why, Kyle?
That's because they don't want to.
Because they're not legitimate cops. They don't have access to the system.
Right. Yeah. Right.
They have to go through more hoops to verify because they're ICE agents and not cops. They can just pull up their computer and be like, born here, citizen. Because average cops can do that quickly, actually. But they can't. They have to go through all these extra hoops and shit. So this is like,
Is that right? Thank you. Is that fucking right? You just got fucking smoked. What you have to do is say, this is who the fuck I am. I'm gonna let you the fuck up.
also, I don't know how, if you've noticed, bro. So all of a sudden, it's just these they're in Kevlar vests with big ass police on here, but ICE at the bottom. Have you noticed that? What's up with that? Y'all are ICE, they're ICE agents. Kyle, they're not police.
It's amazing that the Trump administration, like, they want to do deportations, which, you know, I've made it clear that I am an immigration restrictionist into America, but like, I'm watching this all play out and I'm like, you guys are doing the absolute worst job in the possible world. Like, you have 5 people beating up on this one fucking dude. There was another video that I shared of there were 3 guys pulling this woman out of a car. And I'm like, guys, if you want to get people on board with this stuff, you can't be caught just beating the shit out of people. You can't 3 dudes on top of 1 girl handcuffing her. You can't have 5 people beating up on a guy. Like, it's just the worst and it's unconstitutional to be fucking up American citizens like this. Like, it's a disgrace.
It is disgraceful, bro. And and people always say whenever we bring up stuff like this, oh man, it's happening to them. It's happening to the immigrants. No, we're like, you think that this shit will stop at immigrants?
Yeah. Right. And this is where
does.
This is where I was always skeptical, because I had friends who were way more immigration hawks than me, saying like, oh, we need to get people out any way by any means possible. When Mahmoud Khalil came up and he got thrown out of the country for or illegally detained for just protesting Israel. And I'm like, guys, you do not want to go down the path of saying if you criticize Israel, then you could be deported. They kept saying, no, any means possible. My guys, that does not end well when you just full throttle. And then once again, there cannot be a president in America where you could be detained and just thrown out of the country for criticizing a foreign government. And there are people cheering this on.
Bro, it is disgusting. And then
yes.
Look at this. Dude just.
How do I know you're a U.S. citizen? If you go 2 ways, I can take your
Police, U.S. Border Patrol. No, that's not how. I don't know if y'all understand this. That police, there's no such thing as a federal police, unless you're like literally talking about the FBI. You're not like federal police officer, Border Patrol. Federal police officer, ICE. That's not how that has ever worked in in history. I'm not being hyper. When you're a police officer, you have a very specific jurisdiction.
Right.
Like, now there are situations, however, where the police works alongside ICE, but what we have seen in video after video after video after video is that there are people walking around which in uniforms that look barely touched. So this is new equipment with police, so that they can get the authority and demand the authority that comes with being a police officer without having the jurisdiction outside of the unconstitutional jurisdiction that Trump is giving them. This is insane, yo. How they're dressed up like they about to go to war.
Where were you born?
Where are you from? Doesn't matter.
Are you a citizen or you got naturalized? You're naturalized?
Bro, you gotta pull up cell phone to get info. Kyle, where they do that at?
Jesus.
Where they do? You gotta pull up a cell phone? to confirm, bro.
Holy crap.
That isn't. So you don't even got proper equipment to do your job because you're not a police officer. If you don't got that computer to search, like you're not a police officer. You're you're an overdressed mall cop, overdressed, overpaid, glorified mall cop with little man syndrome. Like this is so. We saw. I don't know if you saw that tweet from DHS today to make matters even worse. DHS came out and tweeted. I mean, they've been on a fucking tear lately, but matter of fact, better to even hear it because it's unbelievable, honestly.
To all ICE officers, you have federal immunity in the conduct of your duties. And anybody who lays a hand on you or tries to stop you or tries to obstruct you is committing a felony. You have immunity to perform your duties, and no one, no city official, no state official, no illegal alien, no leftist agitator or domestic insurrectionist can prevent you from fulfilling your legal obligations and duties. And the Department of Justice has made clear that if officials cross that line into obstruction, into criminal conspiracy against the United States or against ICE officers, then they will face justice.
Now, you're a conservative man, so you've dealt with them one-on-one a little bit more than I have. What do you make of that? Do you hear all the buzzwords, the words that, if I might add, that were used against Trump supporters for the last 4 years?
It's the exact same thing that we heard about January 6ers, who went into the Capitol building, got a little rowdy, farted on Nancy Pelosi's desk, and then got the book thrown at them. All right. They got put in jail for years. And you know what? I don't want it to be forgotten either. The Trump left those people to hang, essentially.
Yes, he did.
For years. He still had the power to pardon every single one of them, which he, fortunately did do when he got reelected. But, once again, now what is this? Oh, well, now we're facing domestic terrorists again. Like, I don't even use that word because what does that word terrorist mean every single time it's brought out? Oh, that means somebody that the government doesn't like and they're looking to either kill or detain or do something to that isn't good.
Or use very specific laws that are designated specifically for terrorists.
Yes, exactly.
So, bro, he said, domestic insurrectionists. What? Saying shit like, yeah. But you're giving immunity to ICE officers, Kyle. That's what we're doing now. I mean, it's already bad enough that cops have qualified immunity. But even as crazy as it seems, and it doesn't feel that way sometimes, even cops have a limit. They're basically saying these officers who didn't have jurisdiction can just do what the fuck they want to. Like, as a double down, by the way, because I don't know if you saw, but the Philadelphia County Sheriff came out and was like, if y'all come out here and try to do that illegal shit in my city, I'm arresting y'all. Because that's what's supposed to happen. Y'all have to follow the law. Right. And instead of because it's crazy how that thin blue line just fucking disappears when you want to justify your fascism. Because instead of being like, oh, we respect local law enforcement, it's fuck local law enforcement if they're not going to do what we want them to. If they're not going to let us break laws. Like, that's where, so you don't respect law enforcement. You respect puppets. You want law enforcement to be puppets and not enforce laws, which is kind of what we've always known. We've always, at least I've always said, but it's become even more clear because you got these people walking around wearing police on their chest, but they're not actually police officers. And when the police officers are like, no, we ain't about to let y'all do what you want to in my city. Oh, well, we're going to arrest them too then. Fuck it. It's a felony. We're going to arrest police chiefs. We're going to arrest sheriffs. We're going to arrest anyone who tries to hold us accountable. Y'all, I don't know what else to tell y'all, but if y'all not paying attention, you kind of living in Nazi Germany right now, guys. Right? Kyle, I don't like to be hyperbolic. And I was the one who was telling people to dial it back during Trump's first administration. Because as bad as it wasn't this, Kyle. But when you're talking about executing women in broad daylight and fucking lying about what happened, and then calling her the domestic terrorist, making up excuses every time we see an arrest or somebody else has gotten shot, you're running into high schools and beating up students and teachers.
Right. Yeah,
like,
you can't.
Bro, this is insane. Go ahead.
there's got to be humane ways to deal with situations like these. And once again, people always call me they'll say, oh, you're not far right wing enough or something like that, which like I've clarified before, my position is that deportations are a necessary thing, but like you can't go beating people the fuck up like this. Like there are humane ways to move people about and
Fix the
also kind of,
system.
yeah, like there has to be a better way to do this. And the way that I see them just constant, like once again, executing a woman in broad fucking daylight. When you have 5 people on top of one dude, it's like, guys, what the fuck are we doing here?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
It was crazy. I don't, like I said before, I don't even have a problem with people who like want the immigration laws to be enforced. The problem with that is we don't know what the hell there is to be enforced, and we don't know like the laws change every 2 days.
Right. And then also it's very selectively enforced too.
And it's selectively enforced.
Right.
And it's if like, oh, if I have enough money, I can get away with it, even if that money is ill-gotten and I got it from participating in activities or empire-sponsored activities in the country that I was excommunicated from. Like there's so many layers to the immigration conversation where it should be a black and white situation for the most part, with very few exceptions. It seems like there's more exceptions to the rule than anything, and it's hard. And when people like that, like when there are legitimate refugees, like these Somalis, the majority of them are legitimate refugees. We know what's happening in Somalia, but they're being treated as if they are the instigators, like as if they're not doing anything other than trying to flee a situation that was created by the United States. And you're blaming them for being the victims of what, like Trump especially, because ain't nobody bombed Somalia as much as Trump has. This is nuts, guys. Like, bro, when you talking about all this in the context of, and we're banning 75 countries from going to the U.S., that should, like, to wrap your mind around that, you gotta deal with this fact that the U.S. is literally destroying everything and telling y'all to stay the fuck there to die and deal with it.
Right. That's why I've always said you can't have a world empire. Well, as the greatest thinkers of our time, basically like Ron Paul, Scott Horton, Dave Smith have all basically clarified that like you can't have a world empire and a constitutional republic, because that empire always comes back home. And only that, you can't have a closed border and then expect people to just stay where they're at while we just destroy their homes. Like, it's not a just war that we can live in. And eventually, like I said, that empire is going to come back home, which the form of the empire coming back home is you've now displaced all these people from their home that you completely destroyed needlessly.
Common sense, bro. It's common sense. Like, where else would you go? The safest place from the bullet is behind the gun that fired it.
Right.
Period, point blank. This is common sense. So I don't know if you've seen this this whistleblower that came out and basically let people know what they're doing with the immigrants that they're arresting, legal or illegal or undocumented. They're basically using them as informants, amongst other things. Yeah. Now, what the hell? Let me switch. There we go. So, operations, Benchwarmer, Tidal Wave, Abracadabra, Dust Off, Flora Jalees. These are just a few of the secret programs recently undertaken by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. ICE has become a self-appointed bouncer for America under Donald Trump, enlisting tens of thousands of federal, state, and local police and intelligence departments and agencies to not just root out quote unquote illegals, but also exploit them for intelligence. Leaked documents show. A Border Patrol official outraged by ICE's conduct has leaked to me this and other documents providing an unprecedented glimpse into ICE's undeclared activities across the country. Many of these operations and their code names have not been previously reported. A 15-page long document marked law enforcement sensitive details 21 different major ICE operations resulting. So it says in 6,852 apprehensions since June, from Operation A covert effort to develop informants among immigrants in detention, to Operation Benchwarmer, which alone spans the deployment of 2,000 intelligence assets across the country. The document gives a sense of how aggressively ICE is scouring neighborhoods and developing sources to spy on immigrants and Americans alike. What is going on, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, the idea from the founders is that we have, once again, a republic, if you could keep it, which I forget who exactly said that, but this stuff should largely be handled, if not entirely handled, by state governments. But now we have a federal bureaucracy that now is completely unsupervised, that's now running over state governments, where they should be doing their job and enforcing their laws within their states. But now, once again, you
Yes.
create this federal bureaucracy that's really mistreating people left and right. Where, like I said, my advocacy for all this has always been like, you have to treat people decently. Like, if we are the greatest country in the world, which I do believe the United States has a capacity to return to being,
Capacity, yes.
you have to be a moral people. You have to treat people morally.
Yes. Like
Yeah.
you have, even when you're carrying out policy, when you're put like the best, some of the best, excuse me, the countries that have the best policing in the world, quote unquote policing, the way that they treat those that they arrest is usually a reflection of the quality of the country and how much they actually respect one rule of law, but also respect their people. Right? You have situations like Norway where I think that they're literally closing prisons, bro, because they have such a unique rehabilitation process. The recidivism rate is extremely low because they get, and I mean, which is crazy because you would think the way they get treated in prison is so nice. You would think people would be willing to go back. Like,
Right.
They get like so much free time. They never leave more dangerous than they came in. It is insane but it's maybe because they get treated with dignity. And a lot of the people end up getting thrown into the prison pipeline, the school to prison pipeline, the hood to prison pipeline, the drug trafficking, because of what? Because they didn't grow up in a life of dignity. And they made the only decisions that were presented to them at the time. And whenever people learn there are other options, they will change. So we can carry out policy and make sure that people are following rule of law without denigrating them or executing them.
Right.
But
exactly.
we don't want that.
100%.
We
Right.
don't want fear because what happens is if you start treating people like with dignity, then that's going to be an expectation. And while we can't be a good empire with that type of expectation on our shoulders, because then y'all going to expect us to not, y'all going to expect us to acquiesce to your request of not being shitbags, psychopaths, genocidal, Zionist maniacs, buying up all your homes, destroying countries, killing people on the street. Like, no, we're going to do that. So let's just go ahead and show you right now what we will do if you do decide to stand up to us. Let's go ahead and get that out the way. So there's a lot going on with the ICE right now. Y'all got to stay plugged in, bro. It looks like it's not stopping anytime soon. But for the time being, we're going to move on to this crazy story in Argentina, guys. Like, Israel they don't know, they don't got limits, guys. They don't have any limits whatsoever. I don't know if y'all seen this, but two Israeli tourists were out in Argentina in the Patagonias. And yeah, man, just at the joke, decided they want to start a fire. And the result was the largest forest fire in Argentina history.
Una hora te vas de ahí. Sí, sí, dale. Por favor, allá la carpa. Allá. Del otro lado. En el bosque no se puede hacer fuego. Prohibido.
Yeah, they filmed
Me
themselves doing
acabo
it.
de dar toda la vuelta porque vi una nube de humo y salí de ahí. Están estos hijos de puta. Están prendiendo fuego en la concha de su madre. ¡Te vas, hijo de puta! Si no lo cuidamos nosotros, ¿quién va a cuidar esto, hermano? Tiene que haber alguien acá, mirá.
Yeah, bro. And this was the result. The fire's still going on, by the way.
Shit.
The fire,
Well, I
yeah, bro.
actually haven't seen pictures yet. Holy crap.
It's bad. So, for those of you who are curious, turns out that within the last 2-3 years, Milei has stripped the policies that protected these lands that got burned during forest fires or wildfires from being bought from foreigners and developers for 60 years. Shit's out the window now. Right before this happened.
Yep.
It's not, and there has been a massive influx specifically of Israelis. I'm sure Kyle, I think Kyle, you mentioned it too. If you know your history, you know that during the Balfour, was it the Balfour or Havre Agreement? Where they were moving, they wanted to originally, excuse me. So they wanted to originally settle Jewish people from, or settle Zionists in Argentina. They would originally wanted to do that. But also, as we know, after World War II, where did the Nazis flee to? Argentina. Like that. Hell, supposedly there's an actual picture of the CIA of Hitler in Argentina. I don't know if you ever seen X-Men First Class. You seen it?
No.
You have? Okay, so in the beginning, Magneto's out on like a revenge tour, trying to get back at all the people that kidnapped him and all the Nazis that killed his family. And you know the first place he goes to go find a group of Nazis or hang out at a bar that they started? Fucking Argentina, bro. Swear to God.
Yeah. They're trying to keep people's eyes off of that because Malay is Jewish. And, once again, what's the first thing that he did as soon as he gets sworn in? He goes to the Shabbat up in New York and then, sings their praises. He sends money off to the city of London. He designates, Hezbollah and all of these groups in the Middle East as terrorists. And it's like, oh, I see the angle here. And then he starts privatizing things. And like, I still consider myself a libertarian, but his whole aesthetic was supposed to be, oh, look, he's this great libertarian that's accomplishing libertarianism in Argentina. It's like, okay, well, I don't know if libertarianism would be you privatize everything and then sell it off to the International Monetary Fund.
Seemed like the total opposite of libertarianism from what I. He was supposed to, he was talking about he was anti-globalist, like he was going to he was saying on the globalists.
Yeah. That's exactly what he said. Yeah, I'm an anti-globalist. And like, I believe I don't remember who the president was before him, but they were starting to have a little bit better relationships with like China and Russia. And then all of a sudden he comes in and then just 180 on all that. And then, we're completely in with Israel. We're completely in with the US. We're not going to do trade with China. And
IMF.
like,
World
yeah,
Bank
the
goes
IMF.
broke, by the way.
The
The US has to give him billions, 40 billion, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Or 40 million. 40 million.
It was 40 billion. I think it was. I'll look it up real quick.
I pray it wasn't 40 billion. Now that I'm saying it out loud. Holy shit. Tesla, thank you very much. Agree with doing things more respectfully. Jimmy Carr recently said, if reasonable people won't police your borders, then unreasonable people will.
Yes, I agree with that. Okay, so yeah. It was 40 billion. Jesus Christ, $40 billion. Yep.
Jesus Christ. Boy, he must be.
Oh. Hopefully everything's all right with Niko. They turned the Holy Land.
I'm back. That was me. I clicked on my mouse. Yeah, that was crazy. But let me go ahead and put that back up. So I want y'all to see just how like this has been in the making for a while now. This is even the first instance that lets us know that Milei's government was probably directly involved in this fire. So Milei's fire sale on the Patagonia and the Mapuche people's fight for life. Some 40 people from a circle on the dusty late summer grass, following days of uncertainty and fear, cut off from most forms of communication, families from Mapuche communities in Argentina's Chubut province gathered to talk about what happened on February 11th. At 7 a.m. that Tuesday, hundreds of Argentina's armed provincial and federal police forces raided their homes, smashing windows and destroying belongings. The special forces, wielding assault rifles, held men, women, and children at gunpoint for more than 10 hours. During their day of terrorizing Mapuche families, police took cell phones and computers, leaving the community spread over miles at the eastern base of the Andes, cut off from each other. They confiscated books and farm tools, forced indigenous men, women, and children to give DNA samples, Kyle. Semi-stripped young women in photograph tattoos and other body markings. Manhandled elders, separated young children from their parents, boy, who that sound like, Kyle?
Sounds like Israelis.
Need I say more? Need I say more, guys? Like, it's scary, bro. Look, since they began in December, Argentine government propaganda has blamed the Mapuches blame indigenous people for forest fires. That makes sense. That have burned more than 50,000 hectares.
Holy shit.
Yeah, or hectares of mostly national forest land in Patagonia. The forest land that coincidentally Israel is trying to buy up and couldn't be bought unless it was specifically set on fire after Milei took over, because he's the one who passed the policy to allow that land to be bought. It's a triple ploy to distract from the role of climate change and government negligence in the fires, to divert attention from real estate interests waiting to take over the land for major projects, and to criminalize the indigenous people who are the last remaining bulwark against the max exploitation and destruction of one of the world's largest freshwater and forest reserves.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it in that video. That area there was absolutely gorgeous. And then, of course, some Israelis go in there and think, all right, well, whatever. I think Jose, I heard who I mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, I think he said that Argentina actually has the 5th largest Jewish population in the world.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah.
Several of my friends that I know in Miami that are Argentina, they're of Jewish descent. Like the majority of the people I know that are from Argentina that were in Miami, even if they weren't actively practicing, they were of Jewish descent.
Yeah, yeah. And this isn't saying that, like, all Jewish people are no. This is like, there's this very specific sect of Zionists, Jewish Zionists, that are interested in, once again, having their cut of the pie. The Netanyahus, the singers, people like that. They're not the same people as Aaron Mate or Max Blumenthal or someone like that. Like, we're talking about 2 completely different kinds of people. But once again, the Zionists do have an interest in Argentina. It's another
Argentina's
place.
a beautiful place. It's
Right.
but we also know too, like, fascism has a history of taking hold in Argentina. Like the damage that fascism has done in Argentina, because like, not only have Nazis moved there, but people forget the Italian fascists moved there too and fucking wiped out the indigenous and black population. It used to be like it's like 93, 94% white Latino now. And before it was the reverse. It was like 94, 93% black indigenous, and the white Latinos were the minority. Because you have to think about where Argentina is situated at, Kyle.
Right.
You can't tell me that you are next to Brazil, the largest black country, the country that has the most black people in the world. They're number 2 to Nigeria. And then you got Colombia, that is a large black population. And Venezuela, that is largely mestizo and black. And somehow you, bordering all those countries, are mostly white, with a bunch of Italian last names that y'all just made Spanish.
Something's going on there.
Something's going on there. So like, fascism has always taken root in Argentina and decimated populations and like, it's like, I've always said that Argentina will continue to fail, because like I've always felt like the world, the spirit of the world, after the damage that these fascists have done to the land, to the people, doesn't want Argentina to be a successful project. I genuinely feel like that, because what's crazy about Argentina too, Kyle, and some people might not like to say, but I just believe in it. Usually whenever you have a country like Argentina that is mostly predominantly white, right? Even if you're Latino, predominantly white, the U.S. just leaves you alone. You find success. When you don't have a predominantly white Latin nation, they will demonize the black and the mestizos and the indigenous and say that all the problems are their fault. They just don't know how to take care of themselves. But you can't make that situation, and you can't make that the case in Argentina. And like you said, even with as many Jewish people that live in Argentina, like, they still have failed miserably as a nation. It is only white people running everything. The white Latinos are running everything, and the white Jewish Latinos are running everything. Why can't they be successful? I'm like, yeah, man. It's because, one, the U.S. doesn't want you to be successful, but two, it kind of like shows you it's one of the very rare situations where the U.S. let a predominantly white country in an area they could act in a region they could take advantage of strategically fail. They let them fail, and they're going to continue to let them fail, and it's probably for this very situation. Would you not be surprised? Like, no, we can't let that land price go up. How are we going to let Israel move in whenever shit hits the fan?
Yeah, I mean, there's this whole concept in kind of like Jewish literature called the curse of the 8th decade, and Israel is coming up on their 8th decade, where the mythos is basically just that Jewish people can never find a home for longer than 80 years. And if you look at Israel right now, what the hell's going on over there? I mean, would you be surprised if a lot of people are looking at that situation over in Israel saying like, all right, Argentina's looking pretty safe right about now. Our president may, there's corruption trials. We're fighting all these wars. I don't exactly feel safe in my country anymore. The U.S. is constantly having to bail us out. And we don't know if they're always going to be here. I mean, like there's a story of what the hell is her name from Stranger Things? Winona Ryder. Her talking about how her parents used to tell her, like, she would sleep in her parents' room because she was so scared that her parents were going to get dragged off. And like when she was growing up in the United States, like the culture surrounding some of Jewish people is just one of like constant fear. And like you guys are safe in America. Like you're not going to get victimized. Like there's some people who hate Jews.
You're gonna get wealthy, honestly.
Exactly. Are there some people out there, some randos on Twitter just saying some stupid stuff? Absolutely. But like for the large part in America, you're safe, you're fine. Probably even in Israel, you're probably mostly fine until Netanyahu kind of got in recently. But then like now you're looking at this whole situation here with Israel and Iran and Hezbollah, Lebanon, the West Bank and everything. And it's like, okay, well, this is very unstable. So like you said, they probably want to drive pricing down way in Argentina. So that way it's like, all right, well, whenever Israel's all said and done, we can just pack up our things and go move to Argentina because we'll be safe there. And there's already a large Jewish population there. So, well, if all the resources are cheap, the land is cheap, then we could just move over there whenever our time's up here. And then Argentina will get bailed. They'll get more billions of dollars, of course.
I just had this epiphany.
Yeah.
What if that's part of the reason they had to get Maduro out? The oil, but like not necessarily the oil by its in and of itself. Like that's part of it, but Maduro is very anti-Zionist.
Yes.
Like,
and who did he stop?
Took over. Yeah, if Zionists took over Argentina completely and totally in that type of fashion, it wouldn't go over well because they have a partnership between them, Colombia, Venezuela, and Brazil.
There's this weird symbiosis of, okay, so you have Marco Rubio, who is largely held together by this coalition of ex-Cubans, Venezuelans, Guatemalans that are all in Miami, right? And then you have obviously the AIPAC and a lot of the Jewish lobbies, the Zionist lobbies, and they're all kind of working together in concert to change Latin America for the better. And you have all these idiots on the right saying, oh, manifest destiny. This is America, bro. I'm like, guys, just shut the fuck up. Monroe Doctrine. Just shut the fuck up. Please, just shut up. Like, don't pretend you give a shit about America because all this shit that we're doing right now isn't helping out America a single bit. And this idea of manifest destiny, we can't even fix America. And you're telling me that we're going to fucking run Mexico, Venezuela, Cuba, Honduras.
Right.
Like,
with what money?
Like, give me 5 minutes here. Let's figure out what's going on in America. Let's at least make it somewhat decent for the average American. And then we could talk about, hey, maybe we'll send a few bucks here or there. And then maybe we could talk about, hey, maybe we could do some imperialism here. I don't agree with it, but I'm just saying, like, let's fix our own borders
that
first,
way would make sense.
Yeah, like if our house was in order, all right, man, I'm at least open ears. But at this point, our country's not doing well at all. Like a family with 5 kids that makes like 6 figures a year, something like that, they're like in poverty at this point. So like, I don't want to hear shit about manifest destiny, bro. Shut the fuck up, please.
Bro, my cousin lives in New York, in upstate. Well, not way upstate, but like a little bit upstate. And he makes like 120 plus. I think his wife or his fiance makes like another 90, 80. And he's like, man, yeah, bro, like, they have a 2-bedroom, bro. And he's like, that shit's expensive. I'm like, what do you mean? You make a good amount of money, dog. He's like, mortgage, property taxes, bill, like food, getting back and forth to work. I'm like, so y'all make close to $200,000 a year between the two of y'all, and he's not struggling, but like he ain't living like back when I was a kid. We were told $200,000. That's if you make that, you're good. Beyond good. You're set for life. You're straight. You can save money. You got enough money for rainy day. You got money to save for your future. You got money to save for your kids' future. That's $200,000 a day. Good luck.
Yeah. I kind of look at it now. I remember when I was younger, people, when they said, oh, I have a 6-figure income, people would turn their head at you. They were like, whoa, really?
You cracked that 98,000? Because back in the day, even 80,000 was like, wow. But if you actually were able to crack that 100,000, everybody knew that's a lot. As a game changer, that extra 20,000.
Oh yeah.
Now 20,000. Well, that shit was disappear on your ass. I swear to God, bro, I got a check from some damages from AT&T when my identity was stolen for like $2,000, bro. That shit was spent, and by the way, it was spent on American shit. It wasn't spent on my stuff here in Brazil. Like just resolving shit out there in like 3 days.
Oh yeah,
didn't get to enjoy it.
So I've, in case your listeners aren't familiar, I might have said it before, but I've been an automotive mechanic for 15 years now. And we used to joke, I mean, even like 10 years ago at my old shop, our labor rate was, I think it was $115 an hour. And we're like, yeah, pretty much like $1,000. It almost gets you nowhere anymore. Now I see some of the estimates I put together and I'm looking at this, I'm like, Jesus. Like for when I type in like, okay, so into our computer system, I'm like, okay, 7.5 hours to replace a radiator on like a 2022 Acadia or something like that. It comes up like $1,500 in labor. I'm like, bro, who can afford this? I can't even afford this. If I pulled my Acadia and if I theoretically had one and I had to pay that, I wouldn't be able to fucking do it.
Bro, there's so many people that would really take that money, add another 500 and put a down payment on a new fucking car.
Mm-hmm.
Because why not at that point?
Yeah.
Because it's nuts where we're at in the world. And bro, that's one of the reasons I think for living in Brazil, bro, because everything is like their labor here is cheap. I don't want to say their labor is cheap, but like they don't hit people over the top because there's so much competition.
Yeah.
So they call them oficinas here, but like mechanics, it's not like a corporatized system of mechanics like you have in the US. What do they call them? Like auto shops, basically. They don't have that. It's like I found out about this auto shop because I know somebody that knew somebody. And so if you're trying to screw people over, boy, they getting these WhatsApp chats fast as hell, but hey, don't go there, dog. Don't do it. They're gonna hit. For real, dog. That's how you find out about everything out here. When you buy something from a store, they send you a message on WhatsApp immediately after. But hey, man, you still like that shit? If you need, just let me know. Tell me first. Don't go tell your friends. Let me try to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, that's really good business too. Like
it is.
One thing that's always made me proud is that if you look up, and people could look this up, but I won't say it out loud, but it's pretty obvious my dad's shop. I kind of like, I'm very proud of him and obviously my family's reputation because it's like all 5-star reviews on Google.
Really?
And I remember my dad telling me, he's like, the 2 1-star reviews are people I would not take a dime from. He said they brought in their cars and he's like, I told him, I can't do anything with your car. I'm sorry. It's not worth me and you putting money into it. And they went in there and
helped
gave
them out basically.
Yeah, but because like it doesn't serve me. And this is the way I've always been with customers. If your vehicle fails state inspection, so in Pennsylvania, we have state inspections to just basically make sure like your vehicle is structurally sound to be on the road. If your vehicle is about to fail, I'm always going to tell a customer like, hey, you just should see this because I'm not going to have you spend thousands of dollars only for me to tell you next year that your vehicle is basically unsafe to be on the road and I can't put a sticker on it again.
Yeah.
Like that's not fair to the customer to tell them to dump all this money. You got to be reasonable with people. And hey, that's my boy Siege. What's up, man? So yeah, that's good that at least down there people are like conscientious about their businesses and they kind of want to make sure their reputation is good.
Bro, yeah, gotta be, man. And to be fair, like, okay, so it's ironically, it's like that's capitalism. It's like what it's supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be, it's competition actually bringing the price and keeping prices down.
Exactly.
Bro, you know how like David Rockefeller, he got rid of the middleman and like he bought all the means of production, transportation, all that. That is not the case here in Brazil. Bro, when I moved, for example, so I bought my furniture from one store, for example, but then when I had to move, dog, I had to call some random person. I don't know the name of the company because it's not really a company. It's just a bunch of guys who move shit. And like even that guy had to bring on one more person who does freelance moves. And he just goes to whatever company needs him that day to pay for it, like, or to help. Like every part of the even Mercado Libre, which is like our version of Amazon, bro, they have regular ass motherfuckers on their cars delivering, like, because the state will not allow, as much as Mercado Libre has somewhat of a monopoly to some degree, but like the state will not allow them to control every means of productivity. Like, no, you gotta employ people, and you can't make it so that it's under your brand, under your market. No, because they're going to be delivering. Since you're going to do it, we're going to let them deliver mail as well. Yeah. So like,
it kind of reminds me. Yeah, it reminds me of like people always say, China is a communist state, but they call it like a socialist economy, or what I forget what the exact term, like a socialist market economy or something like that over in China,
Yeah, that's about right.
where like they've disappeared billionaires and stuff like that. But like,
Ooh,
I'm
yeah,
kind of
they have.
thinking about this and like, okay, that's a little extreme, but also like the reason
Well,
why there's
corrupt billionaire. It ain't like this random.
Yeah,
It's people who get like you're exploiting our
Ill-gotten
society and extorting people. Yeah.
Yeah, like here in the United States, we have a government that basically selects winners and losers. Like if an
Literally.
airline needs bailed out, they get bailed out. If Niko, you or I ran a business, we would never get bailed out. If my dad's shop
Never.
went under, he wouldn't get bailed out. You know, the smaller individuals, they don't get bailed out, but the corporations, the rich, they get bailed out every single time. When really, you know, the joke, you know, what they always say, too big to fail. No, it's too big. You should fail.
Isn't that
If
hilarious,
you take,
bro? I
Yeah.
can't believe that was ever a thing. I
Right.
can't
If
believe
you
that.
take on excessive risk, then you either get disproportionate reward, or if you fail, you need to fail. And like if people lose their jobs, I mean, that's tragic. But at the same time, it's like the people who hired you were irresponsible. So therefore, not only can you find a better job because, like, you know, I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of places hiring, but like people shouldn't be allowed to become billionaires through government programs. And that's largely what happens. now
Fail
in the United
because the
States.
billionaires. How often, Kyle, do we see billionaires that were like the richest people in the world are failed businessmen who got bailed out enough times or held on to dear life with subsidies?
Yep.
Like because
Shouldn't happen.
Tesla was a failure until it finally wasn't, and it still probably should. In any other market competitive country like our situation, he would have got bitch smacked, which is why they froze everybody else out the market. He wasn't doing good business. He just said, "Hey man, whatever the U.S. government needs from me, I'll do it for you." Cool, man. So now you're the new billionaire. You're a new favorite billionaire now. That's what happened. Come on, bro. Hold on, real quick. Let me read this last super chat. We're gonna get up out of here.
Cool.
Unemployed scholar, excuse me. Will the Morochos in Argentina assert their African heritage? They should. Anybody should. Anything's better than fucking Israel Zionists coming here taking over.
Yeah, that's more than likely
super
what's
chat.
going to happen. I know you and I talked about this probably in a stream that we did forever ago, but like BYD, right? The reason why BYD can't come to America is because they make affordable EVs. The EVs I work on, they start at fucking $70,000.
Bro, you know they got the US got some problems coming their way. The reason why is because BYD has just made a new announcement that their hybrid for the Dolphin, they're dropping that bitch in Europe. So you can go ahead and take a guess what's about to happen. If I got a choice between buying that hybrid from BYD and a Tesla, I guarantee y'all, bro. They're taking that BYD every time.
100%.
I've been like randomly ending up in chats and shit recently, like just looking up random stuff for BYD. And a lot of times it's research for my work. And bro, you have no idea how many times I've come across random Reddit threads and things like that. But they're like, hey man, so I really like this BYD that I saw while I was on my trip to Brazil. And I came to look for it here in the States. And I just learned that we don't have them here. What the Bro, people are pissed because they're discovering, because you know, they broke their record for tourism this year. So there's so many people, bro, a lot of our Ubers now, people buy BYD specifically to drive Uber because you can drive Uber Black, and most of the tourists and Americans are going to want to drive Uber Black or Uber Comfort. So you can make more money and pay that shit off fast. And it's like 110, 115,000 reais, but now I'm not paying gas, so there's that. Yeah. And that's cheaper. You know how much a Toyota motherfucking Corolla costs here? 250,000 reais, bro. It's like 70 racks.
Holy hell.
It's ridiculous, dog. I said, y'all do know this is the car we buy for our daughters whenever they're gonna crash some shit. Like that's the first car we buy for them. Y'all do know that, right? Like who told y'all that this car's worth this much?
Yeah. Oh my God, ridiculous.
Bro, it's
Holy
nuts.
shit.
But so everybody go follow Kyle on X. Subscribe to him on YouTube. I put his links and everything in the bio. Make sure you go check him out there. Kyle, what else you got going on this week?
Nothing really. I'll be doing a stream here in about a half hour with my dear friend Pete. We're going to talk about the first year of the Trump administration, so that show should be interesting. A new Common Crown, so that's my band. We should be having a song out literally like any day now, so make sure you go check that out. If you're into like metal, I think you guys will dig it quite a bit. And I'll be releasing a article on my Substack all about Jericho guitars, probably Friday. And then Sunday, I'll probably be doing a stream about geopolitical stuff. So that's about everything I got going on. And Niko, it's always good to talk to you, man.
Of course, man. Y'all check, stay tuned. I'm pretty sure, bro. I just got this feeling. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sleep tonight because I'm just gonna be so locked in. Like that news about Qatar and pulling out the. We just seen this story before. I know how it's gonna end. I got a feeling the next couple of days we're gonna hear that Israel's bombed Iran. So make sure y'all stay tuned in because the moment that happens, I'm on here. We're gonna be talking about it. So check in, stay plugged in. Shout out to everybody who's on X watching right now. Make sure you go subscribe to me on YouTube if you're on X right now. Once again, and the link is, I posted the link on Twitter. Go subscribe to Kyle. Like the video, share this video. Leave a comment if you're watching after the fact. They'll boost us in the algorithm. But always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.